Welcome to the ultimate guide to learn how to use Facebook ads to promote your music on Spotify and other streaming services. If you want to learn how to pull numbers like this, with the 9 million streams, 3.6 million streams here, 300,000 streams here, and then 50,000 streams in the first month and a half using Facebook ads, this is the video for you. So just in case you have no idea how any of this works, we show people clips of our song. They see our ad, they click listen now. We take them to a landing page in which they click one of these buttons to jump over to a streaming platform. And that's when Facebook counts it as a successful conversion. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a landing page just like this using a freely available platform that anyone can use. I'm going to show you how to put your pixel on this page so that you can track conversions in your actual ad campaign and actually get results and cost per result here. I'm going to show you how to build this campaign from scratch. I'm going to show you how to pick the audiences for it. And I'm also going to show you how to set up your ad creatives, what types of ad creatives you can use, and then how you can make this campaign a little more advanced further than the basic level I'm going to show you first for all of you newbies who are doing this for the first time. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm starting from regular Facebook so that you know how to get into Facebook ads or meta ads. You go to Facebook, you click these dots in the upper corner, and you scroll down and look for Ads Manager. Click on that, it's going to take you to Ads Manager. Now, there's a lot of different intricacies. You might have a business account, you might have a personal account. I'm going to gloss over that for now because most of you are just going to be good to go. But here, you should have probably an empty ad account unless you've been in here before. What we're going to be doing first is building our landing page just like this using a platform called SubmitHub Links. It's owned by SubmitHub, but it's a completely for free thing you can use on their site to make links that work super great for running ads for this exact purpose we're doing, conversion campaigns. It allows you to create a page that loads super fast, and it can track pixel events to know when certain things are occurring on our page. This is Ads Manager, but if you click this menu on the corner, All Tools, you want to go to Events Manager. The reason why we're going to Events Manager is the first thing we're doing is we're building this page. And we need to know when people actually take action on this page. Facebook or Meta doesn't own SubmitHub links, so they have no way of knowing what actions are occurring on the page. By us installing our pixel on our SubmitHub page, it allows Meta to see when people actually click this button and when they don't click that button. So now we're in Events Manager, we're ready to start building our page. So go over to SubmitHub links or go over to submithub.com. I'll have a link down below and make a free account. Go to links here and then you'll be in this area. So I'm going to go to links and you're going to want to click add a link. Oh, this is new. And one thing you'll learn about Facebook ads and all these platforms is they're changing constantly. This is a new interface. That's cool. I'm going to start with a Spotify URL. In this case, we're promoting a track. All right, so here I am on one of my band's pages, and I'm just going to pick a song. Let's say we're going to do Claustrophobic. I'm going to click these three dots. I'm going to click Share, Copy Song Link. Now, keep in mind, you can do this exact same thing for a playlist, but for most of you, it's going to make sense to do this with a track. But if you want to see the differences in that, you can watch this video here. All right, so now we have our link created. We're going to click Edit so we can go into the settings. Make sure all this is correct. Make sure the links are fine. Just double check. Things can go wrong here. Customize it to your heart's desire. But the important thing we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to go down to this pixel section. We're going to do Include a Meta Pixel. And then this is where we need to go grab that pixel. This is why I had you open up Events Manager. Now, if your Events Manager glitches out like mine does and doesn't load, if you go back to Overview and then click on the pixel name, sometimes that works. For whatever reason, the past month, I haven't been able to just click data. Facebook's a glitchy platform, moral of the story. But either way, once you're here, you're going to see the name of your pixel, just up here in the corner, and then your ID. This is your pixel ID. So all you have to do is copy that number, jump over back to SubmitHub links, and paste it in. Bam. Now we have our pixel in there. And this explains how it works. So when people visit our SubmitHub page, it's going to fire a page view. When people convert on their page or click a button, like the Spotify play button here, it's going to fire a view content event. So I'm going to click Save. We're going to open up this page, and I'm going to copy it. And this is more of an educational exercise, but if I go to Test Events, and I paste this link into the Test Events area, if I go back here, we're going to see a page view. And if I click on a platform, we should see a view content, and we do. So this is what we want to use in the campaign. We don't care about how many link clicks we get in our ad. We don't care how many page views we get in our landing page. We only care about how many people go through the landing page to a music streaming platform. Now, if you want to learn more about the Facebook pixel stuff, if this is confusing and you want to understand it better, check out this video right here where I cover everything musicians need to know about the Facebook pixel. It goes way deeper than this, but this is really all you need to understand going forward. But if you want more info, go check out that video. So at this point, we have our page. We can go back to Ads Manager and we can start constructing our campaign. Take a deep breath. It'll all be over soon. And by the way, if you're already feeling overwhelmed and you would much rather have a one-on-one conversation with someone about this stuff, I do have consultation links down below with either me or someone from my team. Or if you prefer to have a course that walks through this entire thing from start to finish, I have a link for that below. Or if you'd rather just hire someone else to do it for you as well, I also have that link down below. But for those of you who are feeling good so far and want to keep on chugging, let's keep on chugging. So here we are in Ads Manager again. Again, we just went All Tools, Ads Manager. And then here, we're going to click this green Create button and do Create. We're going to choose Engagement. We don't want their automatic stuff, so we're going to do a manual engagement campaign. And now we're cooking. So the structure of a campaign is that we have a campaign level, we have an ad set level, and we have an ad level. We can have multiple ad sets in a campaign, and we can have multiple ads in an ad set. In fact, you're going to want multiple ads in an ad set. So let's keep chugging. You'll see what these different layers represent. So I'm going to call this streaming. This is how I would normally name such a thing. The only other thing you're going to want to mess around with on this campaign page is the Advantage campaign budget. Turn that on and set it to $10 a day. That's the minimum I would recommend launching a campaign at. After it's running and optimized, you can pull it down to $1 a day if you want, but when you publish it for the first time, I don't recommend going less than 10 a day unless you really, really have to. And of course, the sky's the limit. I don't like launching higher than $50 a day, but I will start, like, let's say at 40, and if I have a bigger budget for whatever I'm working on, I might scale it. I've had campaigns running at $300 a day, $400 a day. So the sky is the limit. There's just some care that goes into that. So what I did is I clicked Next down at the bottom. That's going to take us into the ad set level. The first thing is our conversion location. We are not doing this on a messaging app. Our conversion location is on a website, namely our landing page, right? That's a website. So we're choosing website. Leave the maximized number of conversions. Whatever pixel you installed on the page, choose that pixel if you have more than one. But if you recall, Submit Hub fires a view content event. So in this conversion event, the only thing Submit Hub is going to fire is view content for the action we care about. So we need to choose view content. If you're using Hyped It, it's not going to be this. It's going to be a Hyped It Smart Link Click. If you're using a Feature FM, it's going to be a Feature FM click. If you're using Smart Noise, it could be view content or it could be SN Smart Link Click. Check out that Pixel video I linked up above for more information on that, because I cover all those platforms in that video, including Submit Hub links. Here we have Audience and Advantage Plus Audience. I don't like Facebook's new Advantage Plus Audience stuff. I find it just ruins most of the campaigns that use it. So we want to switch to original audience options, at least for campaigns like this. If you're doing a purchase campaign or a lead generation campaign, trying to get email addresses, trying to sell products, you can use Advantage Plus Audiences. But for these streaming campaigns, you want to use original audiences. Don't trust Facebook. Their Advantage Plus Audiences suck for this type of campaign. So now we have a regular old school audience setup. And we want to go down to our locations. We're going to click Edit. And I have a preset here. I'm going to go Browse. And I'm going to add Tier 1 to May 2023. I don't think I've changed my country since then. And I'll scroll through this here so you can see what countries I'm targeting. Tier 1 is essentially the most expensive countries on Earth, but they're also more valuable for a lot of people, and they actually pay significantly better on streaming. Tier 2 is countries that stream really, really well. For example, Brazil and Mexico stream very, very well, but they also pay very, very well, but they're way cheaper to advertise to. So this is the Tier 1, Tier 2 list here. I do include a spreadsheet in my course that's down below that I update whenever my country list changes. So if you always want my up-to-date country list, you can grab my course down below and that has it in there. But that's my current one for you. Ages, this is going to highly depend on your music. As a broad rule, if you have no idea, just do like 18 to 50 and let Facebook sort it out. If you have an older demographic, maybe 18 to 55, but don't do 65 plus ever as your first campaign. If you really think 65 plus makes sense, at the very last resort, cap it at 64. But for most of you, it'll be like 18 to 50 probably makes sense. Now this is where we start getting into fun stuff. So if your eyes have been glossing over this whole time, this is where things get a little more exciting. So first we're going to do is I'm going to type in Spotify. The purpose of this is we're trying to just get people that like music streaming or have a higher probability of being interested in Spotify. Now this is super important. Don't miss this. You want to click Define Further here. See, I'm going to zoom in just to make it more important. Define Further. So it's Spotify and must also match. This and section, they have to like Spotify and whatever we put in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put some bands who either you sound like or bands whose fans you think have a high probability of enjoying your music. This can be, not every band's in here. If you're doing like some new genre, it's probably not going to be in here. So you have to get creative in some circumstances. For example, Every Waking Moment, I might put in Breaking Benjamin. I might put in Stained. I might put in I Prevail. I might put, oh, actually, that's, there's 2 I Prevails. Oh, whatever. I might put in North Lane. I might put in Tool. And then once I have a couple in there, I can click Suggestions. And I'm just kind of going down the list of grabbing bands that I think fans of these bands will like my band. Because I like a lot of these bands. I know that my music has a good overlap with all of them. They're not perfect fits. They're just reasonably close. Like, looking at this list, Tool sounds nothing like Godsmack. Architect sounds nothing like Bring Me the Horizon. But they're all in the ballpark. And I would say in terms of where you're going, as a starting point, there's no magic audience size. Like, it's the audience size that works best for one person might not work best for the next. So as a broad rule, have more than 1 million people here and have less than, let's say, 40 million, just to give you a starting point. And the next thing we need to do, with our last thing on the ad set, is we need to define our placements. And just start with Instagram only, just to keep it simple. Instagram I found has a higher traffic quality, so I'm going to choose Instagram only. But specifically, the Instagram placements I want are Feed, Explore, Stories, and Reels. And that's it. Those 4 Instagram placements are it. Those are the most reliable. They're places where people go to kill time, and they're vertically formatted videos for the most part. So the way I would name this is I'm going to call this Tier 1/2 for the countries, IG for the fact it's running Instagram only. I'm going to call this Artist Group 1. So the first thing is set your Facebook and Instagram pages. If they're not showing up, you may have to link them, and there'll be a button here to link them together. But I already have mine. We're creating an ad, manual upload, single image or video. If you remember, turn off multi-advertiser ads, but it's not a big deal if you leave it on. And then go down to Add Creative, Add Media, Add Video. Now, I already have videos uploaded. If you need to upload them, click the upload button. But I'm going to click See All, and we'll see the different types of videos I've used for this band. So one style of video that we've tried is lyric videos. We were making lyric videos for a lot of our stuff, and so we had lyric video ads made. So just a lyric video. And these can actually work really well. They might not work best for you, but they also might. So it might be worth trying them if you already have lyric videos. One thing that I tend to do most often is using just vocal performance clips. You can see I'm literally in the same room that I'm in this video, in front of the same everything, except for a different shirt on. It's just me singing in this room. And that's the style I tend to go towards. You can have like stock footage ads. You can have visualizer ads. You can use music videos as your ads. You can use live footage as your ads. But you want your videos to be engaging, and you want there to be movement. It has to be a video. It can't just be a static image. That does not work, in my experience. It's boring as hell, and it just doesn't work. The videos that you use in your ads are the most important thing about the campaign, aside from the song itself. So don't skimp on the videos. I tend to turn off these Advantage Plus creative enhancements because I don't trust Meta to change my ads on my behalf without telling me. And the next thing we need to do, you could put in primary text. I found this actually is not that important, so I might do something like for fans of alternative metal, or I might do a call-out lyric line, like a really captivating lyric line or a single sentence description of who might like the song. But if you go to website URL, this is where we're going to put in our link down here, website URL. And then lastly, our call to action, which is the button that shows up on the ad, is Listen Now. And at this point, we actually have a publishable campaign. I'm going to name this here, and I'm just going to call this verse 1. But we could publish this and get going, but we don't want to publish it yet. And the reason is we want multiple ads. We have no way of knowing which videos are going to perform best. So we're going to want multiple. And the way we do that is if I click these 3 dots, so I'm going to click duplicate, and I'm going to make 2 more copies. And if you're doing this, I'm going to say, do at least 3 videos. You can do it with 1, but you're not going to want to ever do it with 1 because you just don't know what ads are going to work best. And no matter what, don't just try one part of the song. So I would say, try a chorus, yes, but also try a verse, and also try a pre-chorus or a build-up. Whatever different parts of the song you have, you want to try them. So basically, in each of these ads, you just go to them, and you just delete the video and add a new video. So you go in, add video, choose whatever other video you're going to add. I'm just going to click a random one because I don't. This is just an example for you, and add it, and then go to the next one and add it, etc. Right? Until you have all your 3 ads. If you're getting errors like this, it could mean that there's actually a problem with your video, but it could also mean that Meta is just kind of a nightmare sometimes. Meta has a bunch of mistakes, but I'm going to try just choosing a different one to see if the error goes away. In this case, the error went away. But you look into those because sometimes the errors are nonsense and sometimes they actually are very important. So that's the ads side. And this, once you have the 3 ads in here, this is a publishable campaign that I feel pretty confident having you try as your first attempt. Now, before we get into how we can make this campaign a little more sophisticated, a little more advanced, I do want to encourage you to try this approach as your first campaign. Basically, having one audience with just a whole bunch of stuff in it as your first run, just because there's a lot to learn here. I don't want you getting so overwhelmed dealing with so many moving parts that you have a really bad experience and don't do this again. I'd rather you start here and then make it more complicated as you get comfortable. For example, the way we're going to complicate it here and make it more sophisticated is I'm just going to go to this audience and I'm going to click these 3 dots again and quickly duplicate it. And effectively what we've done, you can see we now have 2 audiences. If I close this out, we have artist group 1, that's the one we already had, and then we have artist group 1-copy, and that's our new one here. So all we have to do to further complicate this campaign is come down to the targeting and delete all this stuff. I'm going to do define further again. So now we have an empty Spotify and I'm going to try alternative metal, the genre. They don't have every genre in here, but just for perspective, they have alt metal, new metal, prog metal, metalcore, alt rock, heavy metal, rock, thrash metal, hard rock, black metal, post-hardcore, death metal, gothic rock, right? So they have a lot of stuff. You're not going to find emo hip hop. It's just too new. So you have to get a little creative in certain circumstances. You won't find like shoegaze, I don't think. It's just for whatever reason, it's like too niche or too new. So you have to get creative in situations like that. But remember, you don't have to be accurate. You don't have to be perfect, at least. You need to just be in the general realm. If you get a warning like this is just kind of a side tangent. Ignore it. You will get this the first time you're running a campaign with a certain event. So I don't use, in this ad account, I don't use Submit Hub Links. I use Feature FM. So I've never actually used view content in a campaign before. So it's telling me like, hey, we don't know what this is going to do. You might get 0. If I switch this to Feature FM Click, it's not going away, but I feel like if I refresh the page, it might prove me wrong, make me look like an idiot. But either way, I know for a fact, yeah, it's making me look like an idiot. But either way, I know for a fact that this would run and be reasonably accurate. So ignore the messages like that. Meta, you know, as you might have gotten across from my tone about Meta, they have a kind of a buggy platform, and they don't make the best recommendations. So the way I would title this is alt metal, and then we can further complicate it again. Duplicate. Now, actually, you want to, typically I'll click on quickly duplicate just because it allows you to copy faster. That's why it's called quickly duplicate. And then we just literally do that again. Come down here, maybe I'll try metalcore. Sure. You know, obviously put more thought into this, what you'd want to do. Try to keep your audience sizes roughly similar. This is 15 million. This one's 12 million. This is 16. So to me, those are all basically the same. Anything like 10 to 30 is the same. Anything 5 to 15 or 1 to 15 is the same. You don't want to have a 5 million and a 50 million. It's too big of a difference. You can do it in a pinch, but ideally you would try to keep them somewhat similar. So the purpose of doing this, now we have these 3 audiences. And if I close this out, if we look at this graph here, you're going to see we get all these data points on a per campaign basis. Meaning if I go to one of these other campaigns I have, let's say Fear, I guess, I'll look at maximum data here. So we see Fear, I spent about $1,000. Well, I have 1,042. And you can see for each of these audiences, alt metal, 22 cents. Metal hardcore bands, 38 cents, right? Way more expensive. Why? Who knows? Doesn't mean it was more accurate. It just means for whatever reason it did better. And that's why it can be good to try multiple things. You can just throw everything in one, but if you do that, you don't know what actually worked. And what I mean by that is, let's say this one was the winner. If I look in here, you're going to see that I don't have just one target in here. I have all these bands. So I don't actually know which one of these bands did the trick. And that's fine. You don't have to know exactly what did the best. But it's nice, right? Like, it's nice that I know that alt metal was one of the best winners here. In fact, I don't know why I turned alt metal off and kept band group 1 on. I must have had a reason, or maybe the cost just grew over time. That also happens as well. But point being, this is why you split it, so you can see how different targets work for you. And then as you're doing campaigns over time for different songs or for the same song, you start to learn a little bit about who likes your music, who doesn't like your music. And you can maybe apply some of this stuff to not only future campaigns, but maybe to campaigns on other ad platforms. So if you're going over to run some YouTube ads, you have some starting point of what to do. If you're jumping over to TikTok ads, you have some starting point of what to do. If you're talking about your band, you kind of have a better feel for, okay, fans of these bands like me and fans of these bands don't like me, and it might influence your branding and your PR statements or whatever. Don't obsess over this data, because Facebook's an auction, so it's not just about what's accurate, it's also about what's cheap. But it is great data to know, especially on meta and optimizing, like improving your campaigns from song to song to song. And just pulling up a different campaign here, this one had 3 ad sets, 22 cents, 27, and 84 cents, right? So pretty clear alt metal. Now we've seen alt metal show up twice, so this is one of the reasons why I try alt metal for every single one of this band's songs, is because it always works pretty well. You can see that I have these 2 turned off. And so essentially what I recommend doing is, as you're running this campaign, let's say you run this at a bare minimum when you publish it, let it run for 2 to 3 days without touching a damn thing. No matter how brutal it is, commit to 2 to 3 days. But after that 2 to 3 days, maybe you turn off the worst 1 or 2 in terms of cost per result, but then replace them. So click duplicate on the other. Let's say you turn off these 2, come here and click duplicate, and then replace the 2 you turned off with new guesses, because you don't know which targets are going to work best if this is your first time. So what you were trying to do is just kind of like keep trying stuff in as cost-effective manner as possible. And for me, I found every 2 to 3 days is kind of a good window. Turn some stuff off and add some new stuff in, and that's a reasonably good amount of time to have enough data. You can wait more than that. It's just what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to make a campaign and panic after 12 hours because it's expensive, and then tweak a bunch of stuff, and then panic again in the next day because it's expensive. What happens is if you keep tweaking the campaign, it keeps resetting the learning. Like it literally needs multiple days. The first day is almost always the worst by like a mile, and the second day is also usually pretty brutal. Sometimes you can have great results on the first day, but it's actually pretty rare. In fact, let me pull something up for you. So take a look at this graph right here. This is a fairly typical graph. Sometimes it's more extreme than this, sometimes it's more subtle than this, but you can see the first day was 43 cents, and the next day was 34, and then it kind of kept coming down, and it plateaued around this kind of mid-low 20s range. And it'll kind of weave up and down over time and go up and down. Like if I extend this to the rest of September, you see it eventually kind of crept back up in certain days. But this is all normal. This is normal behavior. The first few days are pretty brutal. Usually things plateau for a while. There might have been other reasons why things went up and down. Like I don't know why this got turned off for a bit. Maybe Halloween had something to do with it. Maybe this was a fluke day. But overall, it's this kind of like converging thing going on, where the first few days, like I've had campaigns where the first day is $1.50, the second day is 80 cents, and by the third day everything's down to 30 cents and everything's hunky-dory. So now, as I said before, if you're still really confused about all this pixel stuff, check out this video right here to see everything you need to know about the Facebook pixel. And as I said before, if you prefer an organized course with access to a community where you can ask questions and my country list that's always up to date, check out my course Spotify Growth Machine right here. Or if you prefer one-on-one calls or just to hire someone else to do this for you, check my links down in the description. But I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.